Hello. Welcome to OBSS, or welcome to the Office of Black Student Success, aka OBSS Time Management Workshop that we are providing for you guys online. As you know, my name is Davion Baker. I am the coordinator of the Office of Black Student Success, and today we got a wonderful time management presentation for you all. So I hope you guys get your popcorn ready. Have a good night. I can't even talk right now, but get your popcorn ready. Make sure you're comfortable the next 15 to 20, 30 minutes or so, and make sure you're paying attention as well, because we will be giving you a quiz at the end of this workshop, so you don't want to just be not paying attention. All right, so without further ado, let's jump into slide number 2. So you're probably asking yourself, what is time management, right? And time management is the process of organizing and planning how to divide your time between specific activities. As you know, as a college student, you got so many things to do and not a lot of time to do it. You got to be able to balance your social life, your academia life, your career life, and your personal life as well. So trying to balance that all in 24 hours can be crazy at times. It can be pandemonium. So it is critical for college students and young adults to learn how to manage their time more wisely, or efficiently, I should say. So, number 1, prioritizing, right? The key to effective time management is prioritizing. So we're going to be going over ways to help you learn how to prioritize your time, right? Because you're probably asking like, hey, what do I got to do? Like, how do I, put some time over here for studying? How do I put some time to hang out with my friends? I don't know how to prioritize my time. Don't worry. We got just the thing. So, some of the things you can do to help you prioritize your time is you can collect a list of all your tasks, right? Sometimes, writing things down really help us understand what do we got to do today, right? Because we may have to study for a class, we may have to go to work, we may have to babysit, we may have to, whatever it may happen. Create a list, a daily list maybe, and then work your way up to creating a weekly list. And then when you become really, really good, then you create a monthly list, right? Monthly list of things you have to do within that month. But I usually try to do a day-to-day list because it keeps me on the present time, right? So creating a list of all the tasks you got to do for that specific day, right? Identify what's urgent versus important, right? Urgent is something that is immediate, something that has to be done really, really quick. The deadline is coming up or surely approaching, right? And important are things that you still have to get done, but the deadline may be a little bit far out, right? If you got to do a term paper that's not due until November, and say we're in the month of September, it's still important because you got to get it done, but it's way out. Rather, if you have a midterm, if it's October, like we're in October, and next week you have a midterm and you have to study for it, that's an urgent, that's like something that's coming up immediate, right? Something that needs to get done. Or even, let's take it to the personal life, right? Say, for example, you want to, you got to get something fixed on your car, maybe like a window or something like that. It's something that could get fixed right now. It's important, but you can wait a little bit of time, make some adjustments. But say if it's your engine and you can't drive your car and that's the only way to get to school, that's an urgent thing that you got to figure out how to get done so you can get to school and do what you need to do to be successful. I hope that makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense, when you come in to meet with us, we'll be sure to go over all these things in person with you, okay? Know when to cut. And what I mean by that is know when to say no. Sometimes we get so caught up in, trying to do everything, right? When you try to do everything, 9 times out of 10, you don't get nothing accomplished. You rarely get a lot of things done at the time. So you really want to make sure you know when to cut. You know when to say, no, I can't do this today. I'm just going to focus on these 3 things, because if you focus primarily on, not a lot of things for each day, then it helps you be more efficient. It helps you put in more time and more effort in everything that you're doing. Okay, so know when to cut, and know when to say no to friends or things like that. I know it's hard to say no to our parents if we're staying at home with our parents, and they may want us to do certain things. It's ways to say no without saying no, right? It's saying like, hey mom, can I get it like an hour in of studying, and I will I'll be sure to make sure I wash the dishes, or I'll make sure I clean this up, or I'll be sure to do X, Y, and Z. It's compromising. I know a lot of you guys say my parents don't want to hear it, but sometimes we don't even make the attempt to compromise and make an effort to let our parents know we're going to do it, right? We're going to do it, but give me like another 30 minutes to go over this assignment. Give me another hour or so to make sure I got this information for this test or whatnot. So it's compromising and helping your parents understand what it is, what's it like to be in college, I should say, okay? And last but not least, you got to be flexible, right? You got to be able to adapt. Like, you can have a list on all the things you want to get done, but things can happen, right? What if you have a list and you want to study, you want to get some work done and blah blah blah, and then you get a flat tire. You know what I mean? You gotta adjust, right? It's gonna take away some of your study time, so don't get flustered. Don't be flustered, okay? Don't get flustered or get overwhelmed or stressed if something happens and you don't get to do things that you plan out to do. Be flexible, adjust, make some adaptations. Boy, what you talking about? Make some adjustments, okay? And even when I should say when even if it's not work, right? What if it's you want to hang out with friends, or you planned out to hang out with friends, but something happened where your mom needs you to do something, or your father needs you to do something, and you can't make it where you thought you could. So it's adjusting. It's communicating that to your friends and saying, hey, I can't do nothing, but hey mom, it's cool if they come over here and hang out. Well, you can still get something accomplished, all right? So be willing to be flexible and adaptable, okay? And learn sometimes you got to adjust on the fly, right? You got to adjust on the fly. So how do we prioritize? Some other ways to prioritize. It is based on time constraints, on the potential profitability or benefits of the task you are facing, or on the pressure you're under to complete a job, right? In other words, figuring out what is due first and requires most. Like we said earlier, what's urgent and what's important, right? Understanding the difference between the two. Something that needs to be done immediate, you got to take care of it, right? Something that is important but it can be done a little bit later, and we can make some time to get that done, and some days out per se. And then the result of prioritizing good time management enables you to work smarter, not harder. So you get more done in less time, even when time is tight and pressure are high. This can result in less stress and more free time. I hope y'all looking at those yellow words: less stress and more free time. The goal to help you with managing your time more efficiently is to create less stress. Look, you're going to be stressful. Life is never just happy days or every day, right? But the less stressed we are, the more probability we have to be successful, and the more chances we get to have fun and do the things we enjoy to do. Okay? All right. Time management. Here we go. Time management in college. Let's focus on college now, right? You got to learn how to balance your courses, right? You may have a lot of courses, and some courses may have a higher demand than others. So learning the importance of balancing which course you want to put in more time is very important for a college student, right? If I'm taking Chem 3A and I'm taking Drama 62, Drama 62 may be challenging, don't get me wrong, but Chem 3A may cause you to put in more of your time and effort to understand that material, right? It may be more complex than just a Drama 62, but everybody's different, right? Some people may do well in Chem and struggle in Drama 62. So depending on the course you're having the most issues with, it's critical that you maximize your time and be more efficient in making sure you provide some time to do the things you need to do for that specific class or set. Study time, right? Putting in which class needs you to require more studying time to do so, right? If I don't need to study for, drama and we're doing just improv, I may need to study the script and do some practice, but maybe I got a math test, a math 75 test that I got to take a whole bunch of math equations and understand the formulas, all those things. It may take more time to study. So understanding the difference between the two, right? Some classes some courses expect more study time out of you or have you to do more study time because it's more challenging. It's more rigorous for you. Okay. So it's good to know the difference between, a more challenging class than just a class that's still challenging, but much easier to understand. Okay. Knowing how to balance social life and academic and work, right? Those three are going to be the three things that are going to be the hardest thing to deal with in college, because you got to try to balance your friends, your personal life, your work, because sometimes some of your jobs don't work with your schedule. So it's critical to try to communicate these things with your boss if you are working, and let them know, like, hey, I want to be here, I want to work here, but sometimes, could we figure out a middle ground? You got to be able to talk, for yourself. You got to be able to be your own advocate. So talking to your boss and saying, hey, can I only work Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I do an 8-hour shift on Saturday, and then Sunday I can't work because I really got to study, If they don't understand, then maybe we got to look for another job, right? Money isn't everything, right? Or it's important, but it isn't everything, right? This quick money right now is not more important than the long-term earnings you can be making when you finish with your degree. Okay? And then for the most college students, there are many factors that play a role, and if they are properly managing their time, what is it? I totally missed that, read that. That play a role, and if they can properly manage a day of work. Okay, so what that means, what that pretty much is saying is it's important to learn how to properly manage your time, right? Creating that list, right? Making sure you got a list of things that you need to get done. What's urgent versus what's important, right? Understanding the difference. Urgent is something immediate, something that needs to be done right now, right? Important is something that still needs to be done, but it has some ways to get done. It has some time and you have some leeway to get done, but don't wait to the last minute. Don't wait till the last minute to get things done. The more organized you are, the more you're able to manage your time, the more efficient you will be as a student and as a person going throughout your daily life. Okay, so it's critical to be sure that we are managing our time. So let's go to the next slide. So handling interruptions, right? We all deal with them, right? We all have them, right? Like I said, those unexpected things that could be happening, right? It could be something where, a life emergency. It can be where your friends come and call you 24/7 and talk about some drama that's not really important, but they interrupted you in your time of trying to study and time of trying to be efficient, right? And so how do you deal with that? How do you work with that? How do you learn how to say no and not be rude and not feel like you letting people down by saying no, right? So how do we handle interruptions? Let's talk about it. All right. So some of you guys may not know, but it's critical and it's a good thing to do. One good thing to do is to keep an interruption log. And what that means is you write down all the times you've been interrupted, who was the person interrupted you, and what was the reason, right? That lets you know what's more, and that gives you an idea of who is the people constantly interrupt you. If it's the same person over and over and over again, and you're looking at the reasons that are not, important, then sometimes it's not being rude, but sometimes I'm just not going to answer that today, because after 10 times of so-and-so hitting me up, it has never been anything serious where I have to be like, oh my God, I got to drop everything and do this. It's been something that I can do or talk about a little bit later. So it's good to write a log down, or maybe just on a sheet of paper whenever you got things to do on that day. Write a log down and, put the time you was interrupted when you tried to do it, who was the person that interrupted you, and what was the reason. What was the reason about it, right? Social media strike, right? Well, y'all know what that is. That means no YouTube, no Instagram, no Snapchat, no Snappity Dap, all that. No, what else y'all be using? No Twitter. What else is going? Did I say Instagram? No Instagramming. All that stuff. All social media is off. Whenever you need to take care of your business, is off, right? When you need to focus, when you really need to be attentive to what you're doing, you can't be on your phone. There's no such thing as multitasking, right? Because when you're trying to multitask, you're not going to be able to do one of the tasks to your full maximum capability because you're trying to do two things at once. Juggling is hard as heck. And even with juggling, right, there's still time where you put for each ball until you throw the other ball in your hand, right? So it's understanding that you cannot multitask. And the best way to be more efficient with what you're trying to do and help you manage your time, you got to put those social media things away and focus on the task at hand and the things you want to get done. Okay? Available versus unavailable time, right? And what that means is mark out time where you know that you can be available, and mark out time where you know you can't be available, right? Time that you're not going to be able to do certain things, right? Time where, you can be flexible and time when you can't be flexible, right? So it's like, hey, if I'm going to study at this time, I'm not available during these times, but you can catch me on this time where I am available. But from these days and this time, I'm not available. So can you please respect me when I'm trying to, do my studying, where I'm trying to do things I need to get done and things like that. Now, again, it's harder to do that with your parents or people that you're living with because, hey, if you're living on their rules, sometimes they don't want to hear all that. So it's compromising. It's learning how to be an advocate for yourself and compromise when you can and can't do things, okay? Sometimes parents don't know what you're dealing with, and it's good to communicate those things to them, okay? And most importantly, guys, you gotta learn how to say no. Look, I get it. Sometimes we want to be nice. Sometimes we want to be able to help as many people as we can, but you can't help nobody unless you're able to help yourself first, okay? Make sure you take care of you first, and then you can help anybody else you want to after that, because sometimes you get so caught up in trying to help everybody else and you forget about the most important person, which is yourself. Okay? So again, we can go over all of these more in depth, but these are just, some of the basics as far as like keeping an interruption log, social media strike, available versus unavailable time, and learn how to say no. Okay? Learn how to say no. Right? Those are some the critical things you can do to help you manage interruptions, right? Because interruptions are going to happen, right? They're going to happen. But the more prepared you are to deal with interruptions, the better you are to handle it. Okay? So, my man Benji Frank said, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. That's deep. That's deep. Because lack of preparation calls for a lack of executing whatever your game plan, whatever you want to get done, right? You know, trying to wait till the last minute time and time again is going to result in constantly failing tests, constantly not getting the grades we want to get on essays, constantly not getting the grades we want to get on our math exam. Ooh, what is that? What was that? Oh, snap. Oh. Hold on. Sorry about that. That was a little technical difficulties or whatnot. But, you know, my thing just went black on your boy. You feel me? You know, Office Black, set screen going black. But we getting back to it, all right? But it is so critical, guys, to make sure that you're managing your time efficiently. You're setting up your game plan, your weekly or your daily planners. You know, keep a daily plan. You got these smartphones. If you don't want to write it down on pieces of paper, put it in your phone, guys. Look, you see these things? You see this right here? You see that right there? Put it in your smartphone. They have a calendar in there. You can put your things you need to get done. Do those things that help you maximize your time more efficiently, right? Because it helps. It definitely helps. It really does. I'm telling you, the more organized you are, the greater you're going to feel. And like we said, the less stress, more freedom. Okay? So again, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. So remember that, guys. All right. So, envision, or what's your vision? What is an interruption? As we know, we all have a vision of what we see. Where I can't even read today, can't even talk today. The screen going black on me, but it's cool. We gonna keep it going. We all have a vision of what we see ourselves doing on a daily and even long-term basis. Anything outside of that is an interruption of our planned time. And what that pretty much saying is, don't forget about you, right? We all want to go somewhere. We all want to do things in life, right? We all want to get to that goal of what we're working to. That's what we came to school for. But understanding that we don't want to allow distractions, things to come in our way to interrupt us from getting to that vision. I want you guys to graduate. I want you guys to finish. I want you guys to get to the careers you want to get to. But that can't happen if we're not managing our time efficiently, if we're not doing the things we need to do to be successful. Because lack of preparation means fail. You just see it right there. We know it. It's true. So be sure you understand your vision. Okay? Oops. So recapping on the three things, right? Prioritizing, we talked about it, right? Making sure you know the difference between urgent and important. Creating a list. Maybe you can do a list to kill two birds with one stone. Do a list and put urgent to important on your daily list. What's urgent? What needs to get done today? What can get done today but can get done maybe tomorrow? It will help. I'm telling you, it will help, right? Handling interruptions, learning how to say no, right? Social media, all the Grammy grams and the snappy snaps and the Facebooky books and all that got to go to the side right now. You know what I mean? Because you want to focus. You want to put in your maximum time or your efforts in your studies or whatever you're doing at hand, right? Maybe creating you the interrupt log. Whoever's interrupting you the most and what are the reasons, then that can let you know who's your biggest distractions. You know your biggest distractions. And most importantly, maintain that vision. Maintain the vision of why you're here. Because that's the most important part, right? When you focus on your vision, it can help you with managing your time more efficiently. Okay? And the big idea, finding a plan, sticking to it, and managing unforeseen interruptions. Again, it goes back to that vision. Why are you here? Focus on what's important to you. Your friends are always going to be there. Social media always going to be there. Focus on your vision. What are you trying to do? Why are you coming to Fresno State? Get those things in line. And that's going to do it for our workshop. Thanks again for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at Fresno State OBSS at csufresno.edu. Just some friendly reminders. Make sure you're doing your weekly study logs, guys. I've been checking time and time again. Some of you guys are not doing that. I don't want to have to go, hey, what's up? What's going on type thing. Make sure you're doing your weekly study logs. And make sure you're doing your 10 hours of tutoring or completing your 10 hours of tutoring or any kind of additional support like SI, professional office hours. You got to turn in those forms monthly to reach your 10 hours. So don't try to turn them in on November, December. Turn them in monthly so you can keep track of that. Okay? And make sure you check in your Blackboard, guys. Check your Blackboard. We put in some time and some effort for that Blackboard, so be sure that you are checking it on a regular basis. We may have announcements, we may do some giveaways on there. So you want to be sure you're checking those things out. Again, it's about managing your time and making sure you're doing the things you need to do to be successful. We love you. And I think that's going to wrap it up. Let me make sure that's it. Yeah. Follow us on our social medias on Instagram, Fresno State OBSS, and on Facebook at Fresno State OBSS. Okay. Without further ado, we're going to wrap it up. But remember, prioritize handling interruptions. Know why you're here. Remember why you're here. Stay focused. Believe it. You know you can be successful. We know you have all the tools and tangibles to do the good. Okay? Be sure you paid attention throughout this 30-minute workshop because we have an assessment below. So make sure you complete that and you be successful. Make sure you schedule your appointments too. All right. But we love you guys. Have a wonderful day. See you later, or see you soon.